Okay, so another episode of the podcast from the couch. I'm trying to gather as many people as I can to tell us their story and from the beginning to where they are now, blah, 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 blah. So again, we have Martin Mantime Hudson with us today, one of our professional fighters. Interesting character at a windy, twisty journey to where we are today, I think. So Martin, welcome to the couch.
Thank you for having me.
What go on?
What is happening?
What's going on, bro?
Oh, what's happening? Just enjoying the sport. Just opened up another gym. I think this is the third gym I've done for CrossFace, is it not? The third one.
You do like to move around a bit.
I do like to move around a bit.
So let's kick off before we start getting into now, because obviously you've got a lot going on right now. Where did it start? So what I ask everybody the same question. Why the martial art? Why start training? Why what brought you to the martial art? Not necessarily just to our team here. I mean, because Martin's probably one of the guys that helped create the team. Or even though you didn't. I don't think you ever trained with us in the scout hall, right?
Not in the scout hall. I was more on sort of a Saturday afternoon unity guy.
Yeah. So we use more like the Slough connection.
Yeah.
But still back in the day when I was in South Foxy and coming to like Slough as well. So you are one of the guys that helped build the team. So why martial art? Why did you start training? I mean, what got you involved in it?
Basically, I was never the guy, the team guy, if you know what I mean. I was always the individual. I was always, in the sense of sports and stuff. I never really liked to. I didn't like to sort of rely on anyone else. I sort of like to do my own thing. So I was always into sort of skate scene, the BMX, inline, all that sort of scene. I was into that massive when I was younger, and then getting older, going into my teens, things like that. I was an arse. I was an arse. As soon as I had a bit of drink in me, that's all I wanted. I just wanted to fight. I just wanted to. I don't know. There was something in me where not that I liked trouble. I didn't like trouble. I didn't like the feeling of waking up and in a cell or whatnot.
What did your dad do for a living?
No, he's a police officer.
So you one of his proudest children, offspring, maybe.
I wouldn't say proudest.
Oh, really?
I'd never say proudest, but it was sort of like a bit conflicting with life and stuff like that as well. Obviously, I'm doing this, getting nicked, and I remember one time I got arrested. It was like 3 times in a week. I'm sure it was. It was all through fighting, just drinking that. I remember my mum saying to me, like, you're gonna fight. You're gonna fight. That's what you want to do. So you got to try and do it in a constructive way, if you know what I mean. Opposed to, I used to fight. I never used to win any fights. Do you know what I mean? So I used to get just whacked about, and then so then I started. A couple of my mates started kickboxing down a local club. So I went down with them, and I was the only one that stuck at it. You know, they all sort of went off and done football, more of that stuff. And then I felt I was the only one that was sort of left at this kickboxing club. Shout out Sean Simpson, by the way, great instructor.
So how old were you when you started the kickboxing?
I think I was 18.
18?
18, yeah. And I'd done that for
and you hadn't done anything before, like as a kid, or?
Nah, nothing.
Literally, so you kind of a...
Yeah, my family was really...
Not a late starter, but... Because a lot of times kids get into martial art, you know what I mean? Like, you were 10 years old, so 18 to start is...
Yeah, but I sort of like, I found the martial arts, do you know what I mean? Opposed to them, oh, you've got to go and do this. I wanted to, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I see some young guys from other gyms who are doing other things, other martial arts, and I see it's very heavily sort of, they're guided heavily, do you know what I mean?
Pushed into it.
Pushed in sort of, yeah, so I don't know. But yeah, that was sort of my, I sort of found it at that, and then I sort of went.
So what kind of kickboxing was it? Was it just like
like
Muay Thai or
like
just
freestyle?
Like points kickboxing? Or?
It was a mixture between sort of point and semi-continuous.
All right, cool.
But we used to spar, man. We used to spar hard. So like these old guys, I remember this old guy, Willie, man. He used to come down with these old bag gloves, and he'd just try and. It's getting on my nerves. We're trying to sort the TV out.
It was a great idea. I'm just going to try and leave it on this picture here. Yeah, just leave it because it's in the corner of my eye. It flashing is kind of like
it's annoying you.
It's a little bit annoying. You know what I mean? That song. No,
annoying me.
Anyway, carry on. So you was kickboxing, but you was sparring hard. Old guy Willie.
Old guy Willie, man. Yeah, he was. It was just a sort of a real old school club where we'd have all. It was generally I was the youngest one there. Sort of it used to come for the sparring. And it got to a point with doing the belts, and I sort of got to a point where just being over aggressive, that's sort of how I like to fight. That was I was beating the higher belts, and then once it came to that, I thought, there's no one to really push me.
What belt did you get to?
I can't remember. I think it was I was like 3-4 belts in. I can't remember.
Green.
Yeah.
Maybe a off shade of orange.
I can't remember how it went. But
so how long did you do that before you sort of wanted a bit more?
Well, I was doing that probably for about 3 years.
3 years, right.
3 years. And then a guy, an old school friend, he was wrestling at Slough. So he not at Unity, he was wrestling at Mantime Sports Centre. Yeah. And that was then I started that, and then when I can remember starting it and thinking, I'm not going to be a novice. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to be a novice because I've done kickboxing for years, got a couple of belts, I bashed everyone up a bit, and then I went in and just like, well, you know, Scott's work.
Okay, so school that was with Scott and those guys.
Yeah. Okay. So Chris Bryden, he took me down. He just started wrestling. I think maybe he was with Icon then.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Because Icon
was this before? Was
this
Icon, before
Icon? It was Zay, and that was we were training jiu-jitsu in the Mantime. Because the whole Mantime story is again another kind of weird, not twisted, but windy road. You know, we was training. I remember me and Dr. John. We were training over in Rayners Lane. I think Charlie mentioned the chicken shop, yeah. So we were training there, but it was once a week. It was Wednesday night, and then so we wanted.
And that wasn't with a team. That was just
no, just MMA. So it was like it wasn't.
Not gi or nothing.
No, just MMA, like punching, kicking, firing, submission. That was what we was doing. So we wanted to try, like, you know, everyone wanted to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and stuff. So. And at the time there was a forum. There was a forum called the SFUK forum. Just as sort of the internet was getting its momentum and stuff, and it had, you know, like chat forum. Yeah. Oh, look at me. Yeah, it's weird. I found a forum the other day actually and thought, that's just kind of weird. Because people don't use. I don't use it.
I just got entered in that Ketos forum.
There you go.
The guy, yeah, this is a weird.
So there was two guys. And a Canadian guy, Dan, and an English guy, Andy. Most people know him as Sledge, yeah. So he refereed, he judged, he emceed. He was quite involved in the scene of MMA. So he started a little thing. Oh, you know, we're going to get together on a Sunday and grapple. I was like, oh, cool. So we all went down and we just sort of trained. It wasn't a class or anything. And then someone knew something. They chipped in.
Does Sledge live round here?
He used to live somewhere in Slough, I'm sure of it.
Oh, right, cool.
So, and then he asked me, because at the time I was training with Eric and stuff, he asked me to take the class. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to take a class. I already teach a class at my house, and I'm not sure I want to and I'd rather come here and learn. So then we got a couple of guys in, like a guy called Ronaldo Campos, which was at the time one of Zay's brown belts, and another guy called Eduardo Calorello, who was at the time brown belt under Zay. And that's how Zay kind of got the inroad into Slough. And obviously
what belt were you then?
I was white belt, no belt.
Oh, right.
White belt.
Cool.
This is like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
More, I don't know. But you know what I mean? So we was doing that then, and that's how that whole month. So while the wrestling was going on there, probably the wrestling was there a little bit a ways before then, you know. And but we kind of just we were going. It was in the squash court. That's where we started.
That's what it was. Yeah.
That's where we started training.
Yeah.
So, and we would always bump into the wrestlers here and there, you know. They do a tournament or something like that. We'd chat.
Yeah, there's still tournaments and that going on now, but I think they still hold them there now. It's
and we had a couple of the wrestlers. Like Scott trained with us a little bit in the jiu-jitsu, and like his son Omar and stuff. And
Jazz.
They trained a little bit. Cool. So you was wrestling?
Yeah. So then I went in to do. I went into the wrestling, and I was probably doing that then for about. I don't know. I'd probably say. I'd say 2 or 3 years. I was doing it for a little while. I was doing it.
But it was like once a week, twice a week? Like,
yeah, so it was. I was
so once on a Friday or something?
Once sparring. I was doing one training session, and then Montem. It was. Yeah, I started off just at Montem, and then we sort of stepped it up, and that's when he was like, oh, if you want to train again, there's this place called Unity. It's even closer to Wickham. So I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I don't know how long. Because I remember
you can't have been there long. You can't.
No, we went to the Unity when they just got it. They just fixed it all up. Like Martin, Mike, and Steve just got it, and we was trying to find somewhere. So they wanted a few more days a week, better place, and we looked at a few places, and then they found that place.
It's great. It's great. It's in the middle of everyone. It's straight off a motorway. It's like
because it must have been. It's got to have been there over 10 years now.
Oh yeah, over 10 years. It's got to be. It's got to be. Because even when I come, it was still. I'm sure I think you just started. I'm pretty sure because that was the time everyone used to be there. I can remember we used to have some epic Saturdays.
Well, the thing is that we would have Monday and Saturday at Unity, and then we would have the Wednesday, the Friday, or was it Sunday?
No, it wasn't Sunday.
It was a Saturday, yeah. We used to have Monday and Friday, or Wednesday and Friday in South Oxy, and then I think maybe have somewhere else on another day. That's how we used to do it.
And it used to be cool, but the Saturdays used to be like, they used to be cool, man. There used to be a lot of different talents, a lot of different, you know, the wrestlers, the jiu-jitsu guys, the guys like Dennison come down, and Ginger Rob. What happened to Ginger Rob?
I don't know about
man, he got a belt, didn't he?
He had a couple of amateur fights.
I can remember you because you used to do like one-to-ones with him.
Yeah, he just do it private
on the Saturday.
Yeah,
and then he used to go.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those guys that I've had a few people like that who don't really want to mix in with the group class. They'd rather just have a little one-to-one and train, which is understandable. But when he expressed interest to compete and fight, I was like, listen, if you want to fight, man, it's great, it's fine. You need to jump into the group class and get the rounds in with different guys, because you can't just get used to me, right? You can't just. You need to go with someone who's a little newer than you. You know, you need to go with someone who's more experienced than you. You need to go with a varied, tall guy, short guy, little guy.
Guys on your level.
Big, strong guy, a skinnier guy. You need to have all these variations to understand how you're going to adapt and get that adaptation working. And then I tell him to go in the group class. He then did an amateur fight in Norwich that no one knew about. He just went up there on his own. I just drove up there and fought, drove back. So. Then he did another amateur fight on my show. Did it at Slough. Didn't he fought at Slough? Sure, he fought at Slough.
I think he did.
Yeah, he fought one of the two guys now. They're more Muay Thai guys. I think I've seen them at a Muay Thai or an Interclub, and I've seen them, the two brothers. I forget where one of them. But he came out in the Thai shorts, and we were thinking he's a Thai boxer, and he's pulling out some rubber guard stuff. So it's kind of threw him off a bit. So then he took one pro fight, I forget what that was, into the cage. Oh, where was that? That was a bit of a distance, a bit of a drive. Didn't tell me till it got there that it was actually for the title, yeah? So it's a 5-rounder, right?
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't like he did 5 rounds, bro. He did 5 rounds, and it was a war. And I thought, this is a close fight, I thought, and I'm not sure. This is like, he ain't sold 1 ticket, done a bit of an Omar, didn't sell 1 ticket, and I'm desperately, like, trying to figure out oh man, I don't think he's going to, I thought he won, but you know, I'm going to be biased, I'm his coach. But I'm like, he fought the hometown guy, but he won. He won a belt, really nice belt, and then we never saw him again.
I can remember him coming in. I can remember him coming in like with the belt, with the bruises, and that was him.
Done.
Like, tick.
One and done. I mean, if you're going to do one, then have 5 rounds.
Five
It was a
rounds
war.
of
It was a
war.
war, bro. It was a war. No one was there, just me and him. It was like no one come up with, because he trained privately, he didn't mix with everybody, so it was like.
And especially that was a while ago when it weren't so mainstream to try and get one of your guys one of your mates to travel to pay 30, 40 quid a ticket. No one's going to do it.
Yeah, so I've never, and I don't know, man. I don't know if he's on the Facebook or anything.
He's just gone, bro.
Just disappeared,
He's
man.
just gone, man.
I mean, he's off the grid, you know? Or if he is in the grid, I don't know what grid he's in. But yeah.
But no, we used to have some crazy Saturdays, man. There was
a lot of people there.
I've always said that, sort of at Unity as well, especially when you were teaching there as well, and it was drawing a lot of other people in, and I always thought Unity, those who don't know Unity, it's just a hut. It's just a hut in a field.
Well, I think it was like a working man's sort of, or a company social club. Because you see the pictures, they used to have a bar in it, pool table and stuff at the back. And it was just the boys like Martin and all that, they would play rugby opposite it, wouldn't they? And they saw it was all boarded up, and they just looked at it and went, oh, we could use that. Because they were going to pull it down. So they grabbed it, got hold of the council and stuff, and got the use of it, and just spent a load of time and money on it, done it all up, and you know,
put some mats down.
I mean, again, it's nothing like you know, it's not state of the art modern kind of facility, but it didn't need to be. It's a matted area. You didn't have to pick a mats up, didn't have to put them down, and it was
facility was.
There's something there every day.
But it was the quality of the training that was just on these mats, and I think that's sort of like something that has drawn me to it. I mean, you've got a gorgeous gym now, like, so all really good, but then it was just so, there was nothing else to draw you in apart from the people, right? And I think that was just such a cool thing. I think guys nowadays, they walk in, oh, he's got a ring, he's got a cage. I don't realise
spoiled now.
Oh man, it's spoiled, bruv. You're spoiled. I mean, even when I had the Wickham one, I had a little cage, and I was so like, you got a cage, you can train in a cage every day. It's like, yeah, I just thought Unity was just raw. It was raw, do you know? It's still raw.
Yeah.
It's still raw.
It's still raw.
And I can remember walking in, because I was with Scott, and I sort of said, oh, Scott, do you know anywhere I can start striking? I want to do it. And he's like, oh, have you ever done MMA? And I was like, I was never a fan beforehand. I was never sort of like into it big time.
Well, back then, if you was into it, you had to be looking for it. It wouldn't just pop up.
No, it wasn't just a sponsored thing.
See, back in the day, there wasn't social media, was it? It wasn't. It was like
MySpace and Bebo. I think that was. Like,
so do you know what I mean? So you had to, if you wanted, you had to look for stuff. It weren't like things just didn't pop up. Back then, your phone wasn't smart. Yeah, it didn't listen to what you was talking about and throw stuff your way. So you had to sort of, you would.
You have to have a passion.
Someone that introduced you to it. It was old school, you know what I mean?
All that, yeah.
So that was your introduction, right? Scott would say, right, MMA, that's for you, bro.
Yeah, and I was sort of like, oh, what is MMA? Like, I was clueless. I was clueless about it, and he was sort of like, oh yeah, we'll just go here on this night, ask these guys, the geezer there, David. I was like, oh, all right, cool. So I still did research, just went in, and I remember seeing Shah in the changing room. Shah was like the first guy I spoke to, because you were always a little bit late every session. And yeah, I can remember talking a little bit.
Really? What was this on the one? What day was this?
No, maybe I'm thinking, no, it was a Monday, but you were doing something else, weren't you? Mondays, what
I was
you
always
do?
teaching somewhere.
You're always teaching somewhere.
Monday. Who knows?
Oh, who knows? But no, I can remember saying to Shah and sort of saying, having a talk with him, and he sort of just said, welcome to the family. It was cool because you already knew Scott and Jazz and that, and no, it was a cool thing. I can remember the first session, and it was literally like a mixture of striking and wrestling, the two sort of things I knew, and they both met, and it was, I could use them both. And I can remember my first fight. Oh wow, I can remember that first fight. And that's all it was. It was just a lot of wrestling, wasn't it? Just taking.
So how long did it take? Because really, again, with the Unity, we was only there a couple of times a week, weren't we? So you was wrestling a little bit, and you was with training. Like that's the only trouble teaching an MMA class twice a week. It's hard because you've got to try and fit it all in. Kicking, punching, throwing, and submit. It's like, oh, you know what I mean? So how long? Remind me, how long did it from when you started training with us till you fought?
I think it was a year or less than a year. It was quite quick. It was quite
and what
quick.
was that? What was the first fight? Where was that? Where was that?
That was a centre. That was TMT1.
Oh, you fought TMT?
TMT1.
That was your first fight?
That was my first
That was the fight with this fight here. There's the picture at the end of it.
Where's that?
The one there,
this one here.
That's the fight where we had like 6 guys on, right?
So it was.
Yeah, but every picture of that fight, not the pair of you. There's not one picture of you with the 2 feet on the floor.
Oh no, man, we were swinging.
You was like flying.
We were swinging.
Every picture. There's not one picture of you two. Even the picture of your gum shield flying out of the cage. Both your feet off the floor.
Well, yeah, because he chinned me.
Yeah, but there's
my fucking
every picture is hilarious.
I'll have to find that. Graham.
TMT1 at the centre. Yeah.
TMT1, and it was even to the point where I can remember being backstage with you.
That was your first fight.
That was my first fight, man. Oh. So I was a veteran for that show, man. I fought on every show, all 6 shows they put on. But I can remember, going up, and I'd like never, because it was you, me, Sonny, Ryan Sharman, right? Wasn't it?
What, fought?
Yeah.
No, Sonny didn't fight.
Sonny fought, man.
Who did he fight? He didn't fight. He didn't fight. No, it was Scott, Carl, me, you.
No, man.
I'm telling you now. Sonny didn't. Where's Sonny in that picture?
There, right there.
Oh yeah. But he didn't fight. Sure of it.
Right. So the guys who fought were.
There's 6 of us.
It was you, me, the 2 Hunts, Ryan and Sonny.
Sonny fight? Who did he fight? Are you sure he fought? I mean, it makes sense. There was 6 of us. Because I can.
Who would be the other one then? Charlie didn't.
Yeah.
Reese didn't. I'm telling you, man. I'll tell you
something.
I think it was, man.
I believe it, man. I believe it. I mean, my memory's a bit shady, but because all I can remember that night is just cornering. I think I was cornering Carl, and I was cornering someone, probably Sonny, and I just remember, oh man, I better get back upstairs and get warmed up because I got a fight. Because I took that fight 1 week. When they called me, this guy's dropped out, can you fight? I'm like, well, I didn't want to fight. There was 4 of us sitting around a breakfast table. I think someone had fought maybe in Portsmouth. We were sitting there, me, Shah, Hayden. I think it was Luke. Luke might have fought up in, I think it might have been Portsmouth. Somewhere like that. Anyway, we're sitting having breakfast after the fight, and I got a call from James at TMT, and he goes, need this guy to fight, and I was fighting Steve, right? And I was like, oh yeah, he used to train with us. And the Steve used to be the guy that used to bring in for a pull-out. Yeah, so he needed, someone's pulled out on him. So I just jokingly said, because everyone at the table said that they'd fight him, right? And I jokingly said, well, if all three of these guys are going to fight him, I'll fight them and all, as a joke. I just said it as a laugh. They went, all right. And then he came back to us after I finished with breakfast and said, he said he'll fight you. And I went,
shit got real.
Really?
Shit got real.
And I was like, oh, right, okay. I remember cutting weight for that fight. All I had to do was put, because we had Harrow at those days.
Yeah.
All I had to do was
walk in there for 2 minutes.
No, I put the heater on after the class. The heat was because it got hot in there. I put the heater on after class, and I went in and hoovered up with a sweat top on.
So this was 77. It must be
77 kilos. I went in there, like did the hoovering, and then checked my weight. I was on. Boom, done. Those were the days. And then I didn't even think.
Then shit got real.
Well, it wasn't until I walked out. I went, oh my god, this is what am I doing? What a dickhead. What am I doing? Funny times. Then you tried to raggle me with the walkout tune. Yeah, who put that on?
That was Shah. I'll tell you now.
He put.
Do you really want to hurt me?
Yeah, Culture Club. Was it Culture Club?
Do you
Boy
really
George.
want to make me cry?
I can't believe that. Whatever.
Yeah, but that was the fuel you needed for the fire, man. You needed that fire.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but why did you say to us that I'll do it? But anyway, we all ended up winning on that.
Yeah, everyone. This is what the thing is. So everyone was winning. Everyone was winning.
And then now it's coaching.
And it's
time,
like,
right?
it's like, well, I got 2 more fights, so I better get warmed up. Because it was like Scott fought, I think. Then we had one of Max's guys fight, right? Because Max was starting to venture out by himself, Denniston. His guy fought, and then it was me.
Did he corner you with
Probably,
Tolly?
Tolly,
Yeah,
Tolly was there, and I'm thinking, oh no, it's mine. I could better get warmed up. But now I'm thinking, what's the chance of us? Everyone's won. Oh,
you've got to win, brother.
Oh my god,
you've got to win.
I mean, what's the chances of us all winning? Oh god, this is like there's some percentages going on here. Yeah. Oh my god. And then, lucky enough, I won, right? But I just remembered, as close as that mic is there, I remember the glove just wisping past my face.
Mate, he could take you out.
I've gone.
He got every ounce.
Ooh. But then I think he took me down.
No.
Hang on, you ain't got a clue who takes who down. Remember your story, bro. Come on, man. Remember after your fight?
Oh man,
BCMMA. Yeah. Oh man, yeah. I took him down, and then Reese is looking at you going.
Now, I can remember seeing Reese like looking like,
he took you down.
Yeah,
I've been working on my Sombo with Steve. Yeah, I took him down. And with his,
mate, he slammed me down.
He slammed you.
No. What happened was because I can remember you come out of that spinning back kick, and you missed him, and you missed his ribs, and I was like, oh, fucking hell. I remember you just.
I mean, there's no point trying to figure it out. We just watch it, and you can see what happened.
Yeah.
He took me down. So anyway, so your first fight, TMT won. Then what? Then what happened? So what happened after you fought? Like, because you train, I want to fight. Because a lot of people come in, I really want to fight, you know, sit on telly, want to do it, especially now. But what happened after the fight? So you fought, you won, what happened? Boom. Why did you want to do another one?
Oh, it was that feeling of having your hand raised. There's nothing when you've put all the work in, you've done everything right. You know, you turn up on time, you make weight, and the first fight, it's all a massive learning curve as well, right?
Well, it's the first time you've done it.
So everyone fighting, I think the hardest sort of thing about having a first fight is like, it's the routine of everything. Of when you got to turn up, the rules, the medicals, the making the weight, the hanging around, when to start warming up and stuff. But yeah, I just found the whole experience just like the best feeling. When you win and you win in front of all your friends, your family, you more importantly your team. You know, there's nothing better, man. You know this. This is what, and it's that feeling that keeps you training. It's the feeling that keeps you grinding. You know, it's the. And there's something about fighting. I know you said about it in the past. It's like a form of meditation, right? It's like trying to explain colour to someone that's colourblind. You can kind of explain a bit maybe, but you don't really know unless you're there. Like that second when the ref is calling you in, boom, it's just quiet. It's really peaceful. It's strange, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, I mean, the way it is, what I think is that it's like nothing exists but that at that moment of time, I think. And then I think when you study like a little bit of meditation or like different philosophies and stuff, I think some people try and find that in every day, like they're searching for it. You know, I'm going to sit here and make my mind still and really try and force it. But with the fight, you're not even really, until you're a few fights in, you don't really even contemplate that kind of thing. And maybe sometimes you think, oh, I don't want to sound like a little bit of a sissy. I don't want to sound like I want to do yoga. You know what I mean? Because I'm talking about how calm I am. And there's nothing but now. And,
yeah, but it's true.
But because I think it's not forced, and it's the last thing you think would happen in that situation where it's like you're going to fight. But I think you need that. You have to be only concentrating on that moment, because realistically, naturally, if something was attacking you out in the wild, you don't think about nothing.
Sure.
You just, and that's the whole idea of when you meditate. Don't think. You know, same as Bruce said in 73 and Enter the Dragon. Don't think, feel. Right? It's the same. That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is.
And I think some of that has got to do, obviously there's younger and younger guys going into like jiu-jitsu competitions and stuff like this, and wrestling, and like style wrestling, Thames Valley wrestling. They got the kids going at 3, 4. They're wrestling, like they're wrestling. Like you can't, you know, deny they're not playing. You know, like Manji's son at the moment, like he's. Like the videos the other day, amazing, man, amazing. And I honestly think that's why these kids, you see a kid get an armbar or something on someone, or do it so crisp, so fast. And I believe that's to do with, like, they have no other distractions. They haven't got, like, all they've got to worry about is a jiu-jitsu competition, do you know? And their dad takes them to training, you've got to worry about driving. So when they're in that situation of nothing else, your coach tells you something, they have no reason to disbelieve you, you know? They just jump on it and then like tell us some super cool stuff. So, yeah, I think there's so many different levels of training of like what you can achieve out of it, do you know what I mean? Not just fighting, it's not all about fighting. For a lot of people, I mean, it's gone beyond that for me now, you know?
Well, even if you fought every month, every week, you still got to train more than you actually fight, right? So you got to, I mean, some people don't, some people just fight, you know, that's cool. But if you're trying to do it properly, if you're trying to do it, you know, the way you should do it, then even if you fought every week, you're still going to put more hours in training. Because theoretically, if I'm going to fight in 12 weeks, I'm busting my balls for 12 weeks, I'm doing multiple hours a day, and I'm going to fight for 15 minutes. Even if I fight for 25 minutes.
Not even that. It
so
might
I mean,
not even
you
be
might,
that.
you might. I mean, I've had fights where I've trained, it's been 45 seconds. You know? Oh, I won 40 seconds. Oh, that's easy money. Oh, no, bro, I've been training.
No, it weren't.
I've been training for years, you know?
Nothing's easy.
So, fast forward then to sort of today, now. You've fought on Bellator.
Yeah.
You've been international, right? You've been international, fought, seen MMA around the world and everything like this, and now you've got a nice little spot in High Wycombe, right? So where is that in High Wycombe?
So that is sort of just outside of the town. It's High Wycombe Fight Factory. Doing 2 lessons a week. Thursday at 7, Saturdays at 11 at the moment.
So how's that going? So how do you, because like sometimes for me, teaching was kind of more of, I started teaching just sort of, I didn't really want to teach per se, but it was kind of like, well, there's nothing else going on.
Yeah.
So I need to sort of, I need to train and there's no one to train with. Right, I've got to show this guy that and then we can train. But now it's a little different. So, but how are you finding the transition, you know, or the not necessarily transition from a fighter to a coach, but because you're still doing both, right? And I've done that for years. Some people say you can't do it. Some people say you can, but it's a juggling act, and it's you got to just spin different plates. So how are you finding the juggling act of fighting and coaching?
It's hard. It can be hard sometimes. So at the moment now I've dropped down to 2 lessons a week. The place that I was in before, I was running five days a week, and that was hard. But I also had a lot of guys from the team that could take the lessons. If I was in fight camp, do you know what I mean? I'll be there doing the lesson, I'll do my training and whatnot, and they kind of see it, I can kind of pick up on it, do you know, like go, or I could go. So I'm very blessed to have had those people there that could sort of run it. But no, it is hard, especially with it, like yourself, trying to make rent, stuff like that, putting your own money in, doing stuff like that, not taking a wage off it and stuff was, that was hard. And basically it stopped because we were in India, right? We got in Mumbai, 72 hours, and they just said, oh, yeah, guy ain't paid the bills, yeah. You got to pay.
Well, you was relying on, the guy that you had your place in just didn't pay the bills. Yeah, I mean, that's how it goes, I guess. But
in hindsight, I mean, the location, the gym and other stuff, there was no parking, you know, it's in a big bodybuilder gym. It wasn't ideal, but I mean, it was cool though. What I had working was cool.
No, it's good. I liked it.
It's small, grimy downstairs.
So, but what I want to know is, because when I started teaching, I found it would really help me learn. Even now I teach. What I try to do when I'm teaching, and I probably learned this like from the grappling arts more so. But even if I'm trying to break down, you know, like guys, let's put your even if you're teaching striking, I'm teaching how for a jab or a cross or whatever. What I try to do is do the movement, but try to break it down in as many steps as I possibly can. So even like I'm gonna bring my hands up here, tuck my chin. I'm gonna not hold my breath. I'm not gonna look at the floor. I'm gonna bring this hand up here. I'm gonna tuck this. I don't just go right. Put your hands here, and then throw that. You know what I mean? I try to break it down as much as possible.
Massively.
And when I'm breaking it down and I'm hearing it being broke down, it goes back into my ears so I can learn it again. That's how I try to do it.
I mean, you can never know how to jab enough. You can never say like, I know how to jab. Do you know what I mean? I always think you've got something to learn, and I know what you're saying, reiterating it to yourself and doing these lessons, it makes you a bit tighter, it makes you more obsessed with the movement itself, do you know? Or I find it's the basic stuff that works, man. That's the stuff that's going to come off in a fight, and that's what I try and tell the guys. I'm not here to get you fit per se. Like I haven't got a big passion for wanting to make people, you know, fit, you know, or whatever, to be able to hit a circuit. So I want to show them what I know works in a fight, right? You can there's loads of conditioning sessions and that at the new place, but yeah, just trying to break it down. It's quite nice to break it back down again, get your shoots a bit crisper, you know. And hearing it all again, and you remember stuff as well. You do these techniques and that, and as you said, if you break it down, I don't try and cover loads in one lesson. You know, we do the lessons just like sort of at slough. You do your pad, you know, you do your warm up, you do your rolls, you do your hip pads, bit of technique, you know, half an hour technique, and then you go in and use it in the sparring. I mean, that's still how I do it, and this is another reason for opening this up in Wickham, is because the other gyms, they've got good guys in it, like Kev's does the MMA down at a gym near me, and other stuff, but it's like all I know is I try and replicate that, you know. I try and I don't want to go off and do my own thing with stuff that I don't, you know. I know the stuff works with us, right?
Yeah.
It works, and also there's a sort of, no disrespect to anyone else, but it's the small things. Take your shoes off. Don't walk on the mats with your shoes. Yeah, but you laugh, man. I had it in my gym the other day. Some guy, he was hitting the bag in the corner, man, hitting the bag with like brogues on, man, like brown shoes, and he took them off. He took them off and he was just hitting it, and then he put these rascal shoes back on, and I just watched this guy like walk across the mat like that, and I said, mate, like, does it not feel weird to be walking on the mats with shoes? He's like, no, I know, I'm a doctor. Oh, is it, bruv? Oh, I said, but you should know more than ever. He's in brogues, man. He's in lace-ups.
Lace-ups? I thought you was going to say that he took his brogues off and then put them on his hands and then started hitting the bag, because I know how Wickham works, you know what I mean? There's a...
Listen, man, it's a rare place. It's a rare
I'm sure there's like a nuclear power plant in High Wycombe.
There's something. It's like a
no one knows about.
Chernobyl, little mini one.
No, why maybe it's so high? There's something going on underneath the hill, you know.
High Wycombe, man. Yeah, it's where all the gas rises at a certain level. No, but it's like I want to continue like the stuff that, you know, Eric's taught you, and then what you've taught me, and it sounds, you know, we can have a chat. Oh, this guy's got shoes on, but unless you actually know why, and it's just through education. This happens, you get this. Do you know? It's just you educating me.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing for me with the shoe thing is I see it at tournaments a lot where people, or even at the gym, that people go, they understand the no shoes on the mat thing, but then they walk off the mat into like a shoed area with the barefoot, and then off they go.
Or a toilet.
Oh, I'm just going to go to, whoa, dude, put your shoes back on, man. Like, oh, I forgot. I'm like, dude, why would you walk into the toilet with your shoes off, man?
But if you don't like take the time to,
because then you're bringing that back on the mat. Yeah, you
but
just
you appreciate your surroundings. You appreciate, like, if you don't know, you don't know
that's
why.
the job as
you know what I mean?
The coach to tell them.
100%.
Not tell them, but educate them.
It's made me obsessive, man.
Yeah, I'm a little bit. I'm going to do a T-shirt with the reasons why.
Yeah, but like and like some stuff, you know, like no shoes on the mat. Leave your ego with your shoes, man. Like it's things like that. I can remember Cole wrote Bolty. He made signs. But it's but all that comes respect the mat. If you respect the mats, you respect what's on them, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's all about. I think that's a little bit lost nowadays with the people watching MMA as a sport and fighting, that they miss the martial art part of it. And I think as a coach, that's, you know, I don't want to get like, okay, everybody, you know, call me sir or anything like this, but you know, it's still a little bit informal, but you need to appreciate. It's like if I walk into your house, I'm going to knock on the door and go, oh, is it okay for me to come in even if your door's open? Oh, is it okay if I come in? Hello, is anyone there? So just manners is more of a thing that I try to get everyone to understand. I don't try to instill it or demand it. I just be nice, have some manners and conduct yourself in a nice way. Especially, I try to promote, guys, if you ever wander to any of my friends' gyms or you go to another gym, make sure you conduct yourself, you know,
represent
properly, and you have manners and not just walk in, sit down, and demand, "Oh, where's my training?" I mean, because they pay money to train, but you're getting a lot more. Even if you come to my gym and pay double the amount that you pay, you're still getting a lot more for your money. Yeah, And there's a lot of people that are also standing next to you and training with you that are also paying money that you're getting stuff out of. You're getting their help that they don't need to help you. They're helping you because they just want to be helpful. So I think a lot of that, when people, like I always say, if someone moves to another part of the world or the town or whatever, go to a martial art gym because you're instantly plugged into the community. Instantly plugged in. You're going to know 15, 20 guys from all different backgrounds with all different trades going on in the town. So just go to a martial art gym.
Absolutely.
Right? And what I do, we were chatting a little bit earlier about a couple of things, like when you were fighting and stuff. So what also I'm going to do, because we like to keep these podcasts kind of short and sweet, we get you back in. I think we're going to do like a few of us on here, maybe 3 or 4, and we'll get you back in to go over stories of, so coming soon will be the stories of us venturing around the country, maybe around the world.
We got some stories,
fight stories, and before fights at the hotels, you know, on the way. I mean, all sorts of stories. I think it'd be better with 2 or 3 or 4 of us, because then we can bounce the stories around. Because I remember it one way, but it might not be necessarily true. No,
it'd still be a good story. Though.
But if you want to catch Martin, he's going to be fighting soon. We're in the middle of trying to secure him some fights for the rest of the year, maybe, and obviously next year we'll be continuing to fight. And if you want to go train with Martin, it's High Wycombe Fight Factory.
Yeah, CrossFace, High Wycombe.
Just check us out. Give us a call, and we'll direct you where you need to be. Cheers, Martin.
That's no problem.
We'll catch you soon. Oos.